Welcome back to Primitive Organic Garden. Today is the 4th of July. I haven't seen the garden in over a week. I was out in the mountains camping and practicing some survival and bushcraft skills and taking a break from the heat and the stress. I had a really great time in the mountains, but I've come home and it looks like things are extremely wet. Weed pressure is insane. Everything's overgrown. But there's a ton of produce to harvest. We're probably going to walk through and harvest some things. Already harvested a lot of stuff last night and this morning. First okra pods of the year are finally coming on. It's very late in the season for okra. I'm generally eating okra by late May. We had an extremely cool spring this year, and okra just did not want to germinate. I kept throwing out okra seeds over and over, and I guess the soil temperatures were not quite high enough for the okra to want to germinate. And now it seems like a lot of it is, and the first okra pods are coming on. Peppers are doing really well this year, although I did cheat. My garden, I normally do everything direct seeded. However, peppers take a really long time to grow from seed, and they require very warm conditions for germination and early growth. With our winter being extremely cold and our spring being long and cool, and me not doing anything indoors, I ended up getting about 12 pepper plants from a friend in Colombia and ended up transplanting those into the garden. I normally don't do anything from transplant, it's all direct seed. This year was a slight exception with peppers. Most of the peppers are doing quite well. The star of the garden is clearly the banana melons. I think I only planted 2 banana melon plants, and I probably now have, I don't know, a dozen or more square feet of banana plant. I mean, it's a Cucumis Milo, something similar to muskmelon, cantaloupe, honeydew-ish. Looks more like a gigantic cucumber. It's supposed to taste and smell like banana. I'm really excited about that. But that fruit's about 16-18 inches long. I'm not really sure how big they're supposed to get or when I'm supposed to pick them. But this is one plant. Kind of looks like a cucumber or a cantaloupe, but it's a banana melon. It's one plant, and it's just dominating this environment. It's not even in good ground. This was just one of those really quick lazy raised beds. I don't know if I've given y'all my recipe for the lazy raised beds, but essentially what you do is, if you're being super lazy, you just come out with a bunch of cardboard. And say you want to make a 4x4 raised bed. You take cardboard and layer it 6x6. You want at least a foot or two outside of the area that you're planting. So for a 4x4 raised bed, do 6x6 of cardboard and just layer cardboard on top of the grass, and then put tons of compost in the center, compost and manures and any type of organic materials you have. You know, when you're starting at the base of it, you can use leaves and pine needles and all sorts of things like that. Just make sure the top, 12 inches is mostly compost and manure. And then on the outside cardboard, right, so you got a 6x6 area cardboard, you're going to plant 4x4 with compost and manure, about 12 to 18 inches deep. And then on the remaining cardboard on the outskirts, just cover it in wood chip mulch. And I timed this the other day. This is only, I guess, like a 2x2 raised bed, but I did a 4x4 area of cardboard and then put wood chips all around it. This took me like 90 seconds to make, and it's an extremely lazy way to do it. You don't have to spend time and manual labor and sweat and blood and tears removing grass roots. I mean, I live in a swamp, so my grasses are wild Bermuda grasses, swamp grasses, aquatic adapted grasses, things that are insane to deal with. You want to make a 4x4 bed, and you're going to spend 2 hours with a hoe trying to remove grass roots, and then the grass is just going to reinvade your bed unless it's way off the ground and heavily mulched. I don't really have any issues with insects. I don't have any issues with disease, but weed pressures are absolutely insane in my swamp. So when I first started gardening here, I would come out here, I was all macho guy, and I'm gonna come out here and tear up all this grass, and I'm getting old and I don't want to do stuff like that anymore. It breaks my back. So now I just come out with cardboard and tons of mulch. It takes longer. When you go through all the manual labor to remove all the grass roots and dig all that grass out of there, you get quicker results in terms of, the plants are able to access the native soil quicker. You get bigger plants faster, bigger yields, but it's also way more prone to flooding, and it's way more manual labor. When you do kind of the raised bed model, or even the lazy raised bed with just cardboard, mulch, and manure and compost, you have to be a little patient, because this is only 12 inches or so of compost and manure. I'm not going to try to grow massive fruiting crops here for at least 6 months. I can grow herbs and lettuce and greens, because it's going to take a while for the cardboard to break down. Once the cardboard breaks down, then plants will be able to access the native soil with their roots, and then they'll take off. But until that happens, you need to grow kind of plants that don't need huge soil volumes, so greens and herbs and things. Got plenty of pepperoncini peppers. The licorice basil is in full flower. You can see the banana melon is still running. I got more banana melons over here in the hugelkultur. I tried to get the banana melons to climb a bamboo trellis. They don't seem too interested in climbing. They seem like they would rather sprawl. Got Swiss chard that's still doing really well. The leek that went to flower is looking pretty. Been picking lots of zucchini and squashes and pumpkins. This pumpkin died, but I did get a massive fruit off of it before it died. Like I said, the garden's extremely overgrown. I got just random tomatoes over here by the compost pile, and it's kind of messy. One of the best compliments I got, somebody came and saw my garden and they were like, I really find your garden interesting because it feels much more like foraging than it does harvesting on a farm. And I thought that was kind of funny, but it's true. I come out here with just like random handfuls of seeds depending on the season, and I just throw seeds everywhere, and whatever grows, grows. I like strong selection pressures. I don't like to baby plants. I don't like to hold their hand and, manicure them and give them fertilizer all the time. I want to select for plants that can survive. I like hardy, vigorous plants that take care of themselves. So by coming out here and just tossing handfuls of seed, what is strong ends up growing, and those are the plants that I end up harvesting, and I save the seed from those year after year. And so I'm able to not only locally adapt varieties, but also just kind of select for stronger and stronger plants. And over time, this may be at the expense of things like taste or flavor, but sugar content, that's not really important to me. I want plants that are going to grow really well without needing a lot of care, and plants that are going to produce big yields. I'm not too worried about taste and things like that. This is a cool cayenne pepper here. I've never seen cayenne that wasn't spicy. This doesn't seem to be spicy. It has more of like a green bell flavor to it, but that's interesting. I have so much weeds and grass I need to deal with, but anyway, more peppers. I probably got at least 20 pepper plants this year. There's a random avocado tree over there with a moth on it. Plenty of mint. The loquat tree's doing good. Cherokee purple tomatoes are doing pretty good. Got more basil. I got tons of zucchini to pick. I haven't been picking that fast enough. Some cherries. So I need to pick more stuff. Lots of banana peppers. Pepperoncinis. More pepperoncinis. More pepperoncinis. More pepperoncinis. I'm going to make lacto-fermented hot sauce today. Zucchini plant. A massive cucumber that's now probably a 15-foot long vine. I need to start picking cucumbers off of it. I've already gotten, 14, 15 cucumbers off this one plant. I'll probably end up with at least 30 cucumbers off that one plant. More pepperoncinis. The basil again. Some bell peppers that need water. More pepperoncinis. Random volunteer tomatoes, sunflowers. We already kind of looked at some of the okra over here. There's pole beans back there climbing some random corn. There's volunteer tomatoes in the back. Got some beet greens. Sunflowers were doing good. Oh, here's the other zucchini I needed to pick. I kept finding these massive zucchinis that should have been picked like a week ago out here. And here's another one, so I'm just gonna stick that on this sunflower for a second and come back to it in a minute. Got a tomato just sitting in some grass for fun, just to see what happens. Sunflowers seem like they're doing okay. I really enjoy planting those. Skies are kind of dark today. Some more bell peppers. Just wondered, you know, one sunflower plant can get quite big. It's pretty impressive and beautiful. It's one plant. Some Turkish orange eggplants, some Malabar spinach, some basil, some more peppers, peppers for days and days. I really gotta come out here and clean up some of this stuff. These were early spring tomatoes. I got 16 huge beefsteak tomatoes off this one small plant, but it is now dead, and I'm trying to do the no-till model even with my buckets. So I'm just gonna chop this plant at the base, and I'm going to take this plant to the compost pile. I'm going to refill the bucket with manure, and I'm going to drop a new seed in there, or a couple new seeds. Got some more eggplants that are kind of looking weird. I'm going to rip up all these strawberries. I'm sick of them. I don't ever get a crop because the stupid roly-poly's eating them all. But yeah, the garden's very interesting at the moment. Everything's overgrown. Everything looks pretty messy and crazy, but at the same time, I'm pulling so much food out of here, I can't eat it fast enough. I can't give it away fast enough. I'm having to spend the rest of my 4th of July pickling things and canning things and making lacto-fermented hot sauce. All things that I'm very happy about doing, but it's just ironic that, you know, so many conventional farmers spend so much money on herbicides and trying to make everything neat and clean, and I don't really worry too much about weed pressures. I have insane weed pressures, but I only control them for aesthetic purposes so that the HOA doesn't evict me. You know, when you're growing massive, vigorous crops that are adapted to your environment, and you're growing them in a, you know, organic manner, and you're paying attention to your crops and allowing ecosystems to thrive, you don't really have to worry too much about anything. Weed control for me is all aesthetic, just to keep other people happy. But yeah, so it's a huge mess at the moment, but there's tons of food. It's random volunteer tomato. Not sure what this is going to be. It's a massive bush. It's kind of getting eaten by a wild grape and some blackberries, but should do okay. Plenty of lettuce going to flower. Random volunteer Cherokee purple tomato. Excited about that. How do I know it's Cherokee purple if it's volunteer? I can tell by the shape and the ribbing. It also is an indeterminate plant that doesn't have a lot of fruits on it. That's another characteristic of Cherokees. You got this random cucumber that is climbing this corn here. Again, most of the stuff is just kind of volunteer or quasi-volunteer from me coming out and tossing handfuls of seeds in random places, but see if we can walk over and look at the big raised bed over here. Through this forest of wildflowers and chicory. Got some onions in the middle, a lot of pepper plants, some more squash. The mint is invading. Got some okra over here. Some eggplant over there. Lots of work to do out here, but also tons of food to eat. I'm not sure how much work I'm going to do today. I'm kind of tired. I've been camping in the mountains for the last week, and there's so much stuff to do out here, and sometimes when I get to gardening and drinking beer, I just end up doing way too much work, and I'm super tired. And anyway, it's a marathon, not a sprint, so I'll probably do a little bit more garden work today. I'm definitely going to harvest all the stuff that needs harvesting, make the lacto-fermented hot sauce, pickle a bunch of pickles, cukes, and I don't know. Maybe I'll get out here and plant some more okra and some more dill. Really need some dill. A lot of it got taken out by the eastern black swallowtails, which I love, so I'm not upset about it. But do need to replant some stuff fairly soon, especially dill, okra, and now cucumbers. I managed to get my cucumber seeds wet. It was a bulk pack with a couple hundred cucumber seeds, and now it's all wet. So now I need to either dry those seeds out very quickly, or alternatively plant a couple hundred cucumber seeds, which doesn't really seem like a good idea because cucumbers don't do very well here. It's a swamp. Cucumbers like it dry. They're kind of a desert plant. But I have a couple hundred seeds, so I need to do something with them. I'm surprised there's not more fruits on this banana melon plant, but most of these flowers appear to be male. But it's a huge plant and it's doing fine, so I'm hoping to get, I don't know, at least 5 or 6 big banana melons off of it, maybe more than that. And maybe this plant over here will also produce, at least 2 or 3 big banana melons. I'm kind of excited about that because I absolutely love the smell and taste of banana, but I'm also slightly allergic to banana. It's not a big deal if I blend it up with some like lime juice or lemon juice. I think the acid denatures some of the proteins that are allergenic. Also, I can have all the cooked banana I want. I can make banana bread and eat tons of banana bread. But for some reason, raw bananas tend to make my throat very itchy about 5 minutes after I eat them, which is unfortunate. But it's ironic because I'm also allergic to cantaloupe and honeydew in the same manner. Not like an anaphylactic response, but if I eat cantaloupe or honeydew, my throat gets super itchy. So growing a variety of Cucumis milo that smells and tastes like banana, I'm not sure if that's going to be good or bad or what, but it's going to be fun either way. Mosquitoes and flies and stuff out here are just absolutely killer lately. Being up in the mountains for the week, I got really spoiled. Didn't see a single mosquito. Didn't really have any insect issues at all. And I've been back in my garden for about 3 hours this morning, and I'm just absolutely covered in mosquito bites. Little volunteer eggplant here. Probably not gonna get enough sun, but we'll see. I need to chop down all this dumb corn. They're supposed to just be stakes for the pole beans, but the pole beans don't appear to be doing that well. Lettuce is all going to flower. Uh-oh. The compost pile needs tending to. Anyway, thank y'all for tuning in to Primitive Organic Garden. And hope y'all are having a great Independence Day and eating lots of amazing food that you grew, hopefully, and drinking lots of great local beer and just having a really good time. So